So, I've always wanted to really interrogate my complicated feelings about Justin Russo. So last year, I made a whole video about the inconsistencies of the wizard competition, and in that video, I kind of went on a tangent about how much I despised Justin Russo. And after that video, I got a lot of pushback from people defending Justin Russo and saying that he wasn't as bad as I was making him out to be. I'm also creating a new video about more of the lore surrounding the wizarding world, so I decided that I would make a separate video really interrogating my feelings about Justin Russo, because I recognize that he's a lot of people's favorite character in Wizards of Waverly Place, but I've always felt that Justin was kind of a loser. I don't know, by the last season I felt like he was at his worst. I would go as far as to say that it was character assassination. Justin was just so irresponsible, so annoying, so unlikable that by the end, I was glad that he lost the wizard competition. I was actually disappointed that they let him keep his powers. But you know what? I want to really sift through my feelings about Justin and see if I can come to a more charitable conclusion about why I think he's the worst. So to do that, I also want to give him the benefit of the doubt and explore ways in which Justin may have just been taken for granted and misunderstood, and how that might have eventually led us to this point. Okay, so a lot of the pushback I get as to why Justin isn't as bad as I might have felt is that essentially the degradation of Justin's character and his obsession with the wizard competition was created and facilitated by the competition itself. The wizard competition, a contest where all wizard siblings must compete against each other to see who will keep their powers, has always been a looming event, or in a lot of cases a threat, throughout the entire show. It's pretty much what all the episodes were building up to, and Justin, more than any of his other siblings, took the competition very seriously. He really wanted to be a wizard, and while Alex and Max enjoyed the use of magic that came with being a wizard, they didn't really care about any of the responsibilities or studies. Which meant that in a lot of cases, whenever Alex or Max would mess up with magic, Justin was always the voice of reason and often the one saving the day and correcting their mistakes. This seemed to have created a huge superiority complex in Justin, where even from the pilot episode, he took his greater commitment to his wizard studies as almost a guarantee that he would be the one to win the competition over his siblings. Oftentimes he would gloat that not only he knew, but everyone else around him knew that he was going to be the family wizard. On the surface level, this could be seen as him looking down on his siblings and not thinking they are as good as him, but there have also been several moments of vulnerability that Justin has.
Max, Justin, we have to go help them.
Alex, I'm sure the monster hunters will bring Harper and Zeke back. You just want to go after him because you're way behind in points. Yeah, Alex.
That shows that he actually thinks very highly of his siblings, especially Alex, and sometimes is insecure that she might be a better wizard than he is. In a lot of ways, he thinks of Alex as someone who will push him to be a better wizard, not just as a competitor. Despite the built-in nature of animosity and resentment woven into the wizard competition, Alex and Justin have always shown to care deeply for one another. Whenever Alex makes a mistake, she depends on Justin to help her through, and she always knows that he'll be there for her.
I don't want you to lose your powers. Every time you mess up, I have to think of a way to fix it. You make me a better wizard.
When Alex accidentally turned Justin invisible and made everyone forget him, she broke down because she couldn't stand the idea of not having her brother anymore.
Help me, you can't let him be invisible forever. I grew up with him. He may be dorky and annoying, but he's fun and gullible to pull pranks on, and he's my brother. I need him back.
And Justin has always been very defensive and protective of Alex, pushing her to be better and encouraging her to do the right thing. So honestly, the brother-sister bickering and teasing never really indicated any deeper feelings of resentment between the two. However, as the seasons went on, Justin was written in a way that fully leaned into the insecurity he has that Alex might be better than him, and that oftentimes makes him come across as a massive hater. He blames Alex for everything that goes wrong in his life. He becomes increasingly egotistical and self-serving. He puts his own needs over not only his siblings, but at times the entire world. Justin by season 3, and especially season 4, is almost unrecognizable to the Justin we saw in the first 2 seasons. Now, an extremely charitable reading of why Justin is such a massive asshole by the end of the show could be that the structure of the wizard competition is so inherently flawed that jealousy and resentment are not only allowed to fester between siblings, but are are actually encouraged and incentivized. Because only one sibling in the family gets to keep their powers, the competition pits brother and sister against each other. Helping your sister study for a wizard exam doesn't just mean that she might pass, it could also be one step closer to you losing your powers. And it's very evident that this is a rampant issue with the wizard competition. Jerry and Kelbo have a whole sister that they don't even talk to anymore because they had a massive fallout after their competition. When Stevie lost her family's wizard competition, she ran away and started a revolution. The wizard competition sows discord among family members. It's unavoidable, and Justin, more than any of his other siblings, really wanted to win the competition. He dedicated his whole life to bettering himself as a wizard, studying, training, so I can imagine how frustrating it might be when your slacker siblings advance past you in a competition that you prepared for your entire life. But despite all of that, the reason why I always hated Justin is that his response to Alex, him constantly blaming Alex for everything, never seemed proportionate to whatever Alex has done. Oftentimes, I feel like Justin blaming Alex came out of nowhere. It's almost like he just always wanted a scapegoat for his anger and frustration, and Alex was just always an easy target for him. It really did seem like most times he let his anger get the better of him, and he would lash out in some very outrageous ways. Now, personally, I think Justin's character assassination can just be easily attributed to the fact that Selena Gomez became extremely popular from the beginning of the show towards the end of the show. By that point, she started dating Justin Bieber, she was releasing her own music, doing other acting roles. Selena had really become a household name, and people who have worked on the show have said that because of Selena's popularity, they wanted Alex to win the competition. That was the only ending that they wanted for the show. So truly, I think what happened was that they simply wanted Alex to occupy more of a hero role and be the clear winner for the competition, so that meant making Justin less of a viable option by comparison. They essentially needed the audience to be okay with Justin losing, which meant having him be more selfish, make more mistakes, and be shitty towards Alex. So now let's look at exactly how terrible Justin was. I really hate Justin, and it's really frustrating because all of the reasons I dislike Justin were not present in the beginning of the show. Justin's really unlikable characteristics really start showing up in the last 2 seasons. Justin and Alex had always had a very love-hate relationship. They're super competitive with each other and teases each other endlessly. Yet they're still always there for each other when the other needs help. And you can tell that despite their constant bickering, they truly do love and care for each other. The problem is, by the time we reach the latter part of the series, Justin was always kind of a know-it-all, and even in season 1, he openly expressed taking great pride in being able to fix Alex's problems, and thinking he's better than his siblings. That trait gets dialed up to an 11 by the time we reach season 4, as Justin becomes increasingly selfish, arrogant, and condescending towards his siblings.
I'm sorry, Dad. I guess my Wizard World restaurant idea was too much for us to handle.
No, Max. Your idea was good. And it was working until we came along, got greedy, and ruined it.
Dad, stop. He's gonna think we want to hear things from him.
This is fucking bullshit, okay? These fucking assholes, these fucking assholes! The fuck is their problem, man?
Justin by season 4 just became so bitter and insufferable and thought that he was better than everyone else. Do you guys remember that Beast Tamer episode where Justin was so insecure about his skills as a monster hunter?
No, that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is that beast tamers and monster hunters are equally important. Tell her, Chase.
Okay, now, you know what else is off limits? My beast taming whip. Will you put it down before you lose a toe?
No. I got this. This is actually like a lot of the weapons that I use for monster hunting, which is actually very... Whoa!
You filthy, disgusting, slobbering mass of flesh. You are about to be tamed by a monster hunter.
What do you feel?
I got it!
Listen, Washong, some mean things were said. I am. Please let me live.
This is fucking bullshit, okay? These fucking assholes, these fucking assholes! The fuck is their problem, man?
I think the moment Justin became really insufferable was during the episode Wizard of the Year. So for context, in a previous special, Wizards vs. Angels, Justin falls in love with an angel of darkness who turns him evil and convinces him to steal the moral compass. Yet another example of Justin putting his own needs above everyone else. He delivers the compass to the head of the Angels of Darkness, Gorog, making everyone in the world do bad things. Alex, despite being under the influence of the compass, tries to save her brother and in the process defeats the Angels of Darkness and saves the entire world. For her efforts, she's awarded the Wizard of the Year award, given to a singularly exceptional wizard. And that really frustrates Justin. Throughout the episode, he goes on an entire rant about why he should have been rewarded instead of his sister.
Why it should be me, and not her, but me!
And at the end, he was only remorseful of how he behaved because it only further hurt his chances of being reinstated in his family's wizard competition and made him look bad in comparison to Alex. But honestly, as insufferable as Justin was in that episode, it was still somewhat consistent with his character of feeling he's so much better than his siblings. The moment where it was really over for Justin for me was in the episode where he finally got back into the wizard competition. At this point, Alex and Max were way ahead of Justin in the competition, and Justin really only had one chance to get back in, and that was to successfully help the delinquents he had been tutoring matriculate into WizTech. Alex goes out of her way to help Justin by assisting in tutoring the delinquents, something that she didn't have to do, by the way, because she was already back in the competition. She pushes Justin to let them take their final exam, which would have allowed them to pass and get him back into the competition, believing that they were ready. In the end, however, all of the delinquents failed, and Alex expressed that there must have been something wrong because there was no way all of them could have failed, especially because she herself helped tutor them. But Justin, without skipping a beat, immediately blames Alex for the delinquents' failure.
Alex, you pushed the class to be evaluated before they were ready so you could be sure that I wouldn't get back into the wizard competition.
What? You can't possibly be blaming me for them failing.
But you cut the act. You got what you wanted.
He then goes on to say that not only was it her fault that they failed, but that she did it purposefully to sabotage him to ensure that he would never get back in the competition and secure her place as becoming the family wizard. And that to me was just so out of left field and so out of character, because even though Alex constantly pranks Justin and makes fun of him, Alex has never done anything malicious to Justin. Like, Alex never goes out of her way to purposefully make Justin's life worse. For him to say that Alex was trying to sabotage him and get him out of the competition is crazy, especially because there had been so many countless times where Alex dropped everything just to save Justin, like when she saved him from the Angels of Darkness, or when she saved him from the monsters. So it's like, yeah, she makes fun of him and teases him, but Alex constantly shows up for her brother, and she's already back in the competition, and she still offered to help tutor the delinquent so Justin could get back in. Anyways, because Alex is smart, she realizes that something had to have been wrong and goes off to investigate, and that's when she learns that all of the delinquents did in fact pass the exam, and that the test administrator, who is evil, sabotaged the exam to get revenge on Justin. The wizard then traps Alex as she was about to tell Justin the truth, and Justin, upon finding out that his sister has just been kidnapped by an evil wizard, does absolutely nothing. He doesn't want to go save his sister because he thinks that she tried to sabotage him and get him kicked out of the competition. And I'm like, at that point, who cares about the competition? Your sister could be dead. His students literally had to drag him kicking and screaming to go save his own sister. His sister, who at many other times dropped everything to save him. They had to drag him kicking and screaming to help his own flesh and blood. That's just crazy, and it honestly just felt so out of character for Justin. Anyways, they eventually free Alex, and Justin's back in the wizard competition. Yay. Honestly, I was so over Justin at that point that I didn't want him to be back in the competition. I would have been fine if they just forgot about him. And he never apologized to Alex for blaming her. But oh wait, it gets worse, because in the final episode during the wizard competition, Harper and Zeke gets kidnapped by a griffin, and again Justin's like, you know, my best friend and family friend are gonna die. Who cares? Alex literally had to beg him to save their friends. And I'm like, Zeke is your best friend. Like, he's the guy that you formed the Alien Language League with. Like, you're just gonna let him die? And it's just another clear example of Justin putting his own needs above everybody else. He doesn't care about anything that comes in his way of becoming the family wizard. And it's just to such a disgusting degree. Like, you're gonna let your friends die? So anyways, after a lot of convincing, they eventually are able to get Justin to accompany them to help Harper and Zeke. But when they get back, they found out that they ran out of time and the wizard competition was over, meaning no one would become the family wizard. And of course, Justin blames Alex again. I honestly don't know how that was Alex's fault. Like, they all agreed to go for the greater good to protect Zeke and Harper. And Justin and Max, to a certain degree, were just so angry with Alex. But it's like, what would be the alternative? Let your friends die? And how is that Alex's fault because she came up with the idea to save your friends? I just don't get why they were so mad at her, especially Justin. He was so vindictive and cruel towards her. I mean, eventually he got over it, but honestly, if I were Alex, I would never forgive him for the way that he treated me. Turns out that again was just another convoluted test created by Professor Crumbs. So the competition's back on, they still get to compete, and Alex eventually wins. But man, oh man, the way that Justin acted throughout that whole situation, and honestly throughout the whole season, was just so unforgivable. And that is why I truly just believe that this was just created to make Alex look better than Justin in comparison, because he was just acting so out of character in ways that I would never expect Justin to behave. He just had this reckless abandon when it came to everything that didn't have to do with the wizard competition. It was just a little bit crazy. But anyways, those are my thoughts about why I hate Justin Russo. And listen, if you like Justin Russo, if he's your favorite character, that's fine. He's personally not my cup of tea. But you know, let me know what your thoughts are below if you agree with any of my points. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.